I was born in 1959 December, and in a farmhouse, a poor farmhouse in Bukit Igu. Bukit Igu is behind Sungai Midut. Sungai Midut is on the west bank of Sibu. In other words, it is, or to put in another way, how to say, your thing is now Bukit Igu is on the west bank, behind Sungai Midut, and I was not born in a hospital. I was born in a farmhouse. Yeah. I received primary education at Ting Sing Primary School, which is in Bukit Igu. Transition and up to Form 5, I did it in Dong Hua Secondary School. Lower Form 6, I did it in Methodist Secondary School, or in Sibu. Then I went to Sydney, Australia, for my matriculation, which is year 12 in Ashfield Boys High School. That was in 1979. In 1980 and 1981, I was doing my Bachelor of Economics and Bachelor of Laws in University of New South Wales. That was for 2 years. Then I transferred to Sydney University for another 3 years to finish my Economics and Bachelor of Laws. I graduated in 1984. I have a year of practical training course in Australia. I was offered a job in Sydney, but I declined it because I thought that it's more important to serve my country. So I decided to come back.
Come back to Sibu. Come
back to Sibu. In 1985, that was in 1985. In 1986, I decided to join the DAP, and that was the first time I participated in an election, a parliamentary election. I moved to Miri. Much that I was stationed in Sibu, I moved to Miri at the suggestion of my state leadership. I moved to Miri and contested against Peter Chin. I gathered 10,380 votes, which was a good do for a first timer. But I still lost by 5,000 plus votes. Within 9 months, I had to face another election at the state level against Dr. George Chan, and I also lost. I participated the second parliamentary election in my political career in 1995. That would be my first goal against Dr. Robert Lau. I lost. But I was lucky to win in Pukiaset in 1996 when I outdid the then Deputy Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Dr. Wong Song Kai by a very small margin. I didn't manage to keep the seat when the state election was called in 2001, but I managed to take it back. Now I stood up on the very ground which I felt, and I took it back with a majority of 4,751 votes. And incidentally, my vote was 10,380, which is the same number, exactly the same number of votes I obtained in my parliamentary election in 1986. So 10,380 is a good number.
1996 or?
1986 parliamentary election, I got 10,380 votes. So 2006, it was 20 years later, in a state election, I got 10,380 votes. Firstly, a wakil rakyat is duty bound to bring all the plights of the people to parliament. Ironically, much that Sibu had been represented by a Barisan Nasional MP for 20 over years, since 1980, since 24 years. Yet we wonder how many issues have been brought up. Much that we heard that our MPs have been speaking in Parliament, were their voices heard? Yeah? And if the voices were heard, were measures taken to rectify those complaints raised in Parliament? If they have been ratified, why is Sibu still that backward? We can see Sibu as a backward place. We had been number 2 in Sarawak. We have been overtaken by Miri in 2005. Yeah? We have been promised in 1996 university in Sibu, or even earlier. We have been promised flood mitigation in 1996, but nothing was done. Nothing was done. You can see the Iban communities, for instance. I can give one or two Iban communities examples. A lot of them are still not enjoying piped water. A lot of them are also not enjoying the supply from SESCO, the power supply from SESCO. Now, in the west bank of Sibu, in a particular place called Pernasu, yeah, we had several longhouses where there is no pipe water supply. The residents there consume authentic sky juice. Yeah, they have to collect water from the rain, and they have to generate their own electricity by purchasing generators. Every pintu have to buy their own generators. Now, is that the life that we should continue to live? The Pernasu residents are not very happy. They said that the ministers from the state as well as the federal levels had made numerous promises since the 1990s. Yet, despite the lapse of time, they complain that not at all anything had been done. Now, we have areas like also in the west bank of Sibu, like in Sungai Apong and Pengabang, and Sungai Apong in particular, Sungai Apong, where kilometers of roads have not been tar sealed. Maybe I can start again on that one. We have long houses in Sungai Apong and also in Perkakap, where kilometers of roads have been laid with stones and gravels, but not an inch have been tar sealed. And this has been done since the 1990s. Now, should the people be thankful that the roads have been gravel and stone filled? No. They should deserve better. Right? Their living standard is very low. They told me yesterday. Now, I was there yesterday, and they told me that they have to travel 6 hours from their longhouse just for the purpose of harvesting or catching crabs in Palawan. Now, one outing is a week, and they have to bring along probably their wife in order to catch the crabs. One trip home after a week, they came back, and they are bringing home on average about 150 to 200 ringgit worth of crabs. Is that all they can? Is that a better life for them? So they are economically backward only because they've been neglected by the